about media days or crazy, crazy thing.
Yeah.
Do you want him to go directly? How about this year, the fact that they're going to EFI? How much change is that now to how the race?
Just gotta have fun with it. That's what this year's gonna be all about. What do you think? With everything on.
They come for that.
You're a guy that's you've known time for this. A lot of this still put somebody that's like temporary. It's going to be at, like Amanda was going to be in charge of racing for a year.
It's another opportunity to win at Daytona, and I've never been able to do that. Been so close in a couple different ways, and had great cars over the years, and different things have always seemed to happen. So, hopefully we can close the deal in one of these Daytona races this year between the shootout, the duels, and running all three races Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, hopefully we can just start off right by winning the shootout. Well, the atmosphere for the start of the Daytona 500 is like no other, and it makes you just recognize and appreciate how cool a race that is. So, you go through all those feelings, those pre-race jitters. I don't care who you are, and once you get in that race car, it's time to go.
For me, I'm just moving forward, right? I'm marching forward, I'm doing what I can, I'm doing the best I can, and one thing leads to the next, and so I'm in the Daytona 500. But then I think of it from my parents' position, and I think about how proud they must be that their kid, their daughter, has been in the Indy 500 and the Daytona 500, like how funny. And then the pride of, driving for such great people like Dale Jr. at Junior Motorsports and Tony Stewart with Stewart Haas. It's like, I think about my family when I think about the scope of what I've done and what I'm going to do. Well, I do feel like I'm going to be a lot more busy on the track than I have been in the past, but I think that busy is it's going to help both races. There's not very much nationwide practice, so all the Cup practice is really going to help that. And then the nationwide race on Saturday is really going to help the Cup race on Sunday, I think. So I think that it's no wonder that so many Cup guys tend to do the nationwide race because of the way they can assist each other through the week. I don't know. I think it might be interesting. I think qualifying, I'd love to qualify in the front row and everything, but it almost seems like if you qualify sort of in that 10-20 area, that you go out in the duels and just go race hard and figure out what your car does in it, and then if you tend maybe then have a good race and have a good starting spot. But if you have those first few starting spots, you almost end up pulling back in the duels and being careful, and sometimes being careful is what changes what you would do instinctually as a driver, and sometimes things happen then. So I think there's upside to both. There's upside to qualifying up front, and there's upside to and being up front, and then there's upside to just going for it. Well, I've definitely raced here more than any other track, and I did that. I did that on purpose because I want to do well in the big races, and Daytona is a big race. It is in the beginning of the year for the Daytona 500 weekend, and it is in the summer race too. They're both big, and so the more experience I can have at a place like this, the better off I am. And I definitely have a lot more confidence coming from the summer race last year, where it was bump drafting all day long, and and especially oddly enough, running with Tony Stewart and running well and leading up front and feeling good. So I think that was a big confidence boost, that race.
Well, I think the shootout's going to be the most exciting race of the weekend. One, nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows it's going to be a big pack. What's the push going to do? How long can you really push in competition? First time for fuel injection. All kinds of stuff going to be going on in that Bud Shootout. So it's going to be exciting. And that's the one race I'm looking forward to the most, is the Bud Shootout.
It's a nerve-wracking day for sure. Nobody wants to lose a car. You got guys trying to find their way into the race. If you're on the front row, how much racing do? You want that car to start on the front row. You're clearly a fast race car. So Thursday is a very, very stressful day. But those Gatorade duels are fun for the fans to watch, and there's always a great storyline coming out of it. It still gets me every time I stand there for driver intros. The pre-race ceremonies, the Daytona 500 is the Daytona 500. And from celebrities walking around to political figures, presidents, you name it, the sea of people that's there, it is a huge moment and something I always look forward to. The shootout, it certainly isn't a points race, so the pressure isn't there. I get that part. What's going to be different, though, is we have so many changes to the rules that there's going to be a lot of learning going on and trying to understand from a driver's standpoint how to work the draft.
I treat it the same way I always would for any other race, out there to win it, and it's fun. It's like an all-star race. It's a warm-up race. It's like a preseason race, you want to call it, because there's no points to it. So, go out there, get a feel for it again, get back in the rhythm. For me, I got new crew chief, new spotter, so it's going to really, kind of a warm-up race for all of us there. I say warm-up, though, but we're going to win.
Well, I get reminded a lot because since I am a father, Carter likes to play in the office in our home, and that's where the trophy is. So, we play in there a lot, and I get to look at that a lot. And it's still really cool to think that you've won that race. And I look back at that day a lot, and it's one of the coolest days of my life.
Yeah, there's a lot of big changes. I think I'm looking forward to the season itself, not only the 500. I'm just anxious to start and see where we are. The other side is the experience factor for the 500. I think that's very important. It's understand how the cars are going to run together, what's going to be important. I think you can get away with a lot of mistakes in that race and learn from them for the 500.
The way that James Finch loves these restrictor plate races, we build really good cars for this effort. So this is one of our best chances to win, and it's one of my best chances over all the years. I mean, I've been with Roush, been with Penske, now with James Finch and Phoenix Racing. To have a Hendrick motor under the hood and a chassis and a body, I'm really stoked about this. It's a privilege to be out there with those guys, and last year to bring home the trophy, that's when you get the big check. Right. But if you finish second onto the back, you don't get paid anything. So it's a win or bust mentality.
It's just so exciting, I can't describe it. I mean, I'm so thrilled to be a part of MWR and have an opportunity to work with all these great new people and have sponsors like Aaron's and Toyota and all our supporters so enthusiastic, and it's just going to be a great year.
It's definitely nerve-wracking because you know you want to start as far forward as you can for the 500 and get the best pit selection you can get, but at the same time you don't want to beat your car up because that's your 500 car. So it's a tense moment. I mean, you want to make sure that you take care of it, but everybody's going to race hard and get everything they can get, but it's you still have in the back of your mind that that's your car that they've massaged on, they've worked hard on, and you got to make it last for 500 more miles after the shootout's over. That never changes. I mean, it's like going to the Indy 500, like going to the Knoxville Nationals, going to the Four Crown at Eldora. When you walk out and you get ready to go, you know it's your biggest race of the year, and that's a feeling you don't get the next week.
Last year it was, how does it feel to be running your first Daytona 500, or you're running for a nationwide championship. This year it's totally different. They're asking us how I'm going to defend it, and it's weird to wonder, how am I going to defend it? I guess you just go back to the same mindset that I had last year coming into this and try to do it all over again.
I think it's the biggest race in America. I think that for me, the excitement level and the things that go on that Sunday morning they're unlike any other event. There's just an electricity in the air. There's so many people so pumped for the season to start, and it just seems like the whole off season and all the waiting around and all the preparation gets, just explodes in that race, and it's just crazy. I wanted to win that championship more than anything, but it was also very humbling and very motivating at the same time to know that we could perform that well, that we could push Tony Stewart and those guys to have to win half of the chase races to beat us, and I look back on it with a lot of pride, knowing that our whole team was, we performed almost flawlessly that last event under that huge pressure. So I'm hoping that we get that same chance this year. I'm hoping that we go into Homestead with a shot to win this thing. We can apply what we learn, and I think we're going to be tough to beat.
I'm excited. Been looking forward to the opportunity to drive for Hendrick Motorsports for a year and a half now, and it's getting close. A year and a half ago it seemed like forever until I'll be in the 5, and now it's here, and can't wait to get started. I think.
To me, I'm excited about the race just because I think it's a great opportunity to learn what we're going to have for the Daytona 500. We've got a lot of changes in the car, from power to spoiler and openings in the grill, and so I think it's more of what we're going to learn more than anything else. But I think you're going to have to push the pedal down hard and hold it down if you're going to win that race, which that's going to be cool. The buzz, the excitement, the energy around the Daytona 500 is awesome, and I love that feeling. It's a little bit different race day experience, obviously because it's the Daytona 500, but it's also because what it takes to win the race. You don't really know. It's sometimes you got to be patient, sometimes you got to be aggressive, sometimes you want to be up front, sometimes you want to be in the back. Are we going to be pushing in the closing laps? Who am I going to work with, to try to win this race? So many different things. So your mind is spinning on those, where typical race, you go into it saying, okay, my car was great in practice. If we can, get track position and have good pit stops, I think we can win this race. It's a lot different with the Daytona 500.
It's obviously a lot of fun. There's no points on the line. You're going for a trophy and a check. So we've been fortunate to win it a couple times, but with Budweiser on the car, you want to try to make it happen. So hopefully we can go out there and have some fun with it. And I think this year's Blood Shootout is as high of importance as it ever has been, just for the fact that with the new rules and everything, we want to get a good idea of how things are going to shake out.
It's going to be a great learning experience for me in the shootout, and then try to figure out what I have to do on Thursday to get myself into the big one. But I've done it before. The last time I raced was Talladega. I finished top 10, so I know what I'm doing, and I know I'm going to have the car that I can do it with. So it'd just be a matter of putting all the pieces together on Sunday afternoon and getting in a position late to see if we can win one more of these things.
So looking forward to this season. A tremendous amount of opportunity, nervousness, just everything that comes with new. When you change, I guess when I change it all. Everything's new from the ground up, from the organization, the manufacturer, to the team, sponsor. Everything has been new this off season, so there's been a lot of hard work on a lot of people's part making this all happen.
It doesn't really matter. You got a good backup car on a trailer, so if anything happens, you got a good piece to pull out, and there's even cars back at the shop that are capable of doing it. Really, with the way this racing is right now, it really doesn't come down to how good your car is. It really just kind of comes down to luck. So you can race as hard as you want all week. It's a great feeling to be on the grid for the 500 because it's a big deal. You put a lot into that race, and it's a special moment when you're starting to begin the race. So yeah, it's a good feeling.